by I'd be playing, Billy Kirky would be playing Derek Stark as well, and I thought, here we go. Here's another couple of players to put sort of pressure on us, and they did. And in fairness, two good players, exceptional players.
Wee Jim was a brilliant coach himself. It was for like me, I just stopped playing, so to learn from somebody like him and Walter Smith in particular, the three of us were there doing the coaching, so it was a great experience for me. Wee Jim's wee Jim. But you couldn't ask for a better person to work with in terms of the football side of it.
You can see a lot of things with Jim, but although sometimes you don't see eye to eye, I think in general I learned a lot from him, and I mean, he's the one I've got a lot to thank for regarding me getting as far in football as I did. I think, okay, he knows he ruled by an iron rod and he couldn't do it today. We all know that, but he got success by doing that, and you see when that stopped, United's success was starting to dwindle a little bit.
You had everything down to a T, everybody knew their jobs, and probably a bit of a fear factor as well, looking at it lightly. You're a wee bit scared to put a foot wrong, and you certainly knew about it if you did. So it urged a few forward. It meant that there was always shrinking violets that didn't take it the right way. So I never took it the right way at times. You were raging sometimes with them, you couldn't do much, but if you stood up and be counted and tried to prove them wrong, that was always what you do, prove them wrong. Give me a roasting at half time about something like that, go out and prove me wrong, and you try your best to prove them wrong.
Wee Jim, he was a difficult guy, I think everybody knows that. He was, in lots of ways. I think if you kept it, if you take away the memories of just immediately after games, your memories are better. When he was away, when he'd calmed himself down, and Mondays, Tuesdays, training, all the rest of it. Generally speaking, he was fine. He just went completely off his head after games, and again, you kind of get used to it. It's like somebody shouting all the time. He just washes over you, really.
For what he's done, for United was unbelievable. But I just wish sometimes that he'd been a wee bit kind of more man-managing, I feel like. But an exceptional talent in terms of tactics.
I've read a lot of stuff of Jim, tactically. Man-management wise, I've done the complete opposite, which I think has benefited me. That's just a joke. I'm just saying, there's been lots of things that I've learned from him, and as I said, to be fair to Jim, I wouldn't have the standard of living I had, or reached the. There was a couple of times in my career where early on that there were certain things I had to change in my game if I was to develop as a player. He highlighted that and made sure I worked on it, and made me the player that managed to be picked for 2 World Cups. Now, you can't lose the respect for a man who benefits you in that way. I've managed to have a living for 33 years in football because of it, partly because of Jim. I won't tell him that to his face, but as I said, that's how I think it is.
Jim McLean, the biggest legend United will ever have. He's an absolute god to me. I love him. End of story. I love him. He knows that.
I think first and foremost, getting a taste of European football with St Mirren. Against Feyenoord and St Etienne and teams like that. I always knew that Dundee United were going to be there or thereabouts.
I loved Europe because you were playing against different opposition. Now, you played in the Premier League, there was one year I think we played Aberdeen 8 times. We played Celtic 4 or 5 times, the Rangers 5, 6 times. So there was it was just a great feeling of, you didn't know who you were playing against, you didn't know the guy's name even. It was just him against you, or you against him, and what's he like, and is he quick, has he got tricks, and I loved that part of it because I was a forward, or a forward style player, so I had to beat players. So, that maybe that one trick I used against, Danny McGrain at Celtic just didn't work after a while. He was expecting it, he knew what you were going to do, whereas you come across a new guy and all of a sudden you were getting a bit of joy.
As I said, the European ties were, it was completely different. There was a full house every time we played here. There was a freshness to it, which seemed to turn me on. I really enjoyed playing in Europe.
Well, I'll be honest, he was Sturrock, right? When I was a kid, I used to think, what's so special about Sturrock? But I thought every centre forward got the ball and twisted and was away. You just didn't get forward, just didn't get players like that. Yeah, there's none. It was just immense. Every throw in, straight to Sturrock, done that spin and he was away. I used to think, what's so special about Sturrock? It was only when you got older you thought, wait a minute, he's the only guy who actually does things like that.
Jim seen me as the playmaker. Everything throw-ins, everything had to come into me, and then it had to be distributed out and then get across in the box. So, to have the energy to do that, you got allowed to, you know, in Europe you still had to do your dog game between centre backs, but that was about it. And then obviously you kept your freshness for going the other way.
If you forget Sturrock, I thought everybody in the team defended. Everybody. Sturrock was left up the park on his own as a centre forward. And then when Fergie came, they left Fergie at the park. But everybody else had to work back and clog the midfield and whatever. But everybody had to get forward as quickly as they possibly could. So the Bannons and you know, Gallagher's, who were wider areas, who were really, really quick, could get forward. And one thing in Dundee United always had was they always a good standard of fitness. They were always as fit as anybody else they ever played against, and I think that was important. If you look back over it, I mean, we were very, very fortunate in France to escape only 1-0 because they were a right good side on the night. And even at Tannadice, when we beat them 2-0, you know, they were still, you know, it was still a hard, you know, win.
1-0 was definitely confident beating them. Because in Europe, you tended to get this Jekyll and Hyde characters with teams. Basically, they were really, really good in their own backyard and pretty rubbish away from home.
Unfortunately, I missed the game. I must have fell out with the wee man at some point. I don't think I played home or away. In fact, I didn't play home or away in the rounds.
The Lons game was I think we got battered over there. You know, they were a big, strong team. We didn't really know what to expect.
From memories of the away games, I think the Lons game certainly. Craiova was it? I think in Hajduk split was basically, you know, rear guard action. Really good defensive work.
Looking maybe 10 years on, Lons ended up Champions League material, 50,000 at their home games, etc. You know, so it was another cracking result. But at the time, because they weren't a well-known team, you were like, we should be taking these Lons.
I think Billy Thompson, that was the year he was just immense. Big Billy Thompson. He was like invincible. You know, he was 6'4", big blonde-haired Adonis. You know, came out taking crosses and. You know, he's like he couldn't be beaten.
Yeah, I think we, you know, they played better, you know, definitely. But I think we had a team that I felt was really well equipped in Europe. You know, it was a European style, and there's going to be times where you're going to be under the cosh.
Sometimes, you know, you need a wee bit of luck, and I think that was a bit that we had at that time. But you would never have thought at that stage of it that we were going to go on to do what we did.
Oh, lovely little turn by Sturrock. Well, that's what he's so very good at. Bloody the column. I think that the jet foil of his ears didn't hold him back that time. He just touched it inside, but eventually there was no real threat on the shot. Well, there'd be nothing wrong with that up and under as long as it's accurate. Red for brilliant! Superb shot. And away go the French. And United, I think that's a free kick, but that is quite clearly the best chance of the game so far. I said Redford has only felt his goal for United once in Europe, and look, he was so desperately close there. And by the way, belatedly, that was a marvellous save by the keeper. And so typical. We're approaching half-time and they put the pressure on. There's a 1-2, the captain comes forward in a long run. And he might just get through there. But Thompson's down on it, the net was the fingernails. Well, what happened to that United defence? Good grief. This is horror movie time. The defence looking like the petrified forest. Look at it. Nothing was happening. And at the end, that despairing touch saves United. Stan below is rising to the feet, urging on United. A bit too obvious. Oh yes, they're playing coolly now, the French. Refusing to be pressurised. Playing it in little triangles. And getting almost cornered. Well, that goes a begging. Nobody went for it. Terrible misuse of the ball inside. A run forward by Sturrock. It's Sturrock for United. The goalkeeper is out. Here is Ralph Milner. A chance, he's done it. Yes. 1-0 for United. 10 minutes of the second half gone, and United have taken that very precious lead. The French, who had boxed themselves in eventually, taken on by Sturrock. The goalkeeper had gone walkies, and there, deadly, is the left foot of Ralph Milner. Now, blue jersey, red face as he went for that, and a cluster of players, Milne finding the tunnel. Sturrock. Bannon. Here's McInally, there's no onside. Milne. Must be the chance it is. Coyne. 2-0 for United. That, to a certain extent, after 14 minutes, is an indication of a defence coming apart at the seams. They ought not to have given Milne that latitude and the sheer persistence of trying, putting Dundee United now in a very strong position indeed.
I'd gone out to watch Craiova play, and they weren't a bad side, but I think we scored 2 goals in about the last 10 minutes of that game at Tannadice.
I remember Paul Hegarty was injured, and I moved back the first game I played there in the first team without even playing at centre half in the reserves, I believe. It was against Clydebank when they were in the Premier League. I'm not sure if it was actually a Premier League game or the old Skull Cup qualifying group. And you'd rather play in the first team at centre half than you would up front in the reserves. So I gave it a go, and it turned out fine.
I remember the goalkeeper, who on the night here was unbelievable. You know, he'd be pulling off saves, but then all of a sudden, you know, he would go for a cross, and there'd be nobody near him, and he would dive about, and as if he was hurting. But on the night, I mean, he did really well.
This was Dundee United at their European best. They survived an early scare when a poor pass by Malpass was picked up by Popescu, and before anyone could move, a 25-yard shot had rebounded off the bar and onto Thompson, with the keeper well beaten. That seemed to unsettle the Tannadice men for a spell, but they gradually pulled their game together and came close when Ralph Milne crossed, Paul Sturrock flashed in a header, and Rakolta fisted clear. Although United kept the Romanians under pressure for the rest of the half, they went in at the interval with nothing to show for their efforts. The second half, however, was a different story. Within 8 minutes, United were in front. A Milne corner was nodded down by Clark, and Ian Redford was on the spot to turn the ball home. After that, it looked as if Rakolta in the Craiova goal would rob the home side a convincing lead. A well-directed Redford header was superbly saved. Then a Bowman shot was acrobatically fisted clear. But in the last 10 minutes, the 2 vital goals came. A Bannon corner found the head of Paul Hegarty's outstanding deputy John Clark, and the keeper had no chance. Then in the dying seconds, a great Malpass run and shot saw the ball rebound to Redford, who nodded home his second.
I think Dundee United were short about 3 of their defenders when they went over to Romania to play the game.
Over there, I remember I had to go to, I think, a TV studio. Right. Because I think they were complaining about the ball over here, and it was lighter than the ones that they played with. And they had this show just solely on a heavy ball and a light ball, and I get picked up in I think it was called a Trabant, I think Dinky is written underneath it as well. So I was cramped in this Trabant and getting driven to the TV studios where the streetlights were like candles, it was dark, and I thought, I'm never going to see my family again. That's it, I'm kidnapped, and, you know. But we got to the studios, and there was an interpreter for me. It took us maybe about 45 minutes to get to the TV studios, and I think the show lasted about 40 seconds.
I know, but a bit of a doing from a goalie in Craiova.
Chance for Sturrock. Sturrock is absolutely flattened there. The ball is hooked away. Not cleared. Redford to Milne. Out in front to Bannon. One wide. What a chance. Sturrock is badly hurt to the far side. What a great chance that was. Sturrock did well to turn that ball in field. Milne and Redford were in the follow-up position. The ball was turned back to Bannon, who had a clear view of goal and sent it just wide of the left-hand post. United's marking is tight, forcing them to play across the field. Ungaranu's unmarked on the left. There's a chip through the middle this time. Chance here. Good save by Thompson. Redford getting his jersey pulled inside the box. Clark is there as well. Here it comes, a chance for Bannon. Hits the bar. Nearly a goal. Free kick came over, beautifully flighted. They all missed it. Bannon was there. The ball bounced down almost on the line, up, off the crossbar and away. Oh, and a mistake here. And a great chance. It's going to be a goal. It is. Peter the scorer. A terrible mistake in defence by United. Gallagher challenging, Milne going across to cover, Negrila going forward again as the extra man, as he's done so often in this half. Well read by Malpas, but not cleared. Good save by Thompson. Thompson equal to the occasion that time. Biko made good space for himself, but Thompson got down well. Long one forward. Danger cleared. And can United finish with a flourish? Great play here by McInally. Has to watch for offside. Chance for Coyne. Oh my goodness. That should have been a goal. Superb play by McInally. He broke down the left, beat two men, looked up, saw substitute Tommy Coyne out in front, unmarked, squared it across. Coyne came racing in, was thinking about his spot, put it over the bar, and that's the last incident of the match. Craiova win by 1-0 on the day, but on the aggregate score, it's Craiova 1, Dundee United 3. Well done, United. There's a cross, the keeper in trouble. A great chance, and it's a goal. An important breakthrough for Dundee United, and it couldn't have come at a better time. Just almost on the half hour, 28 minutes gone, and Jim McInally, for whom things haven't run well at the moment, was there as that ball came over. Kept his cool, slotted it in left-footed into an empty net.
Really biffed it.
They keep pushing extra men in the box as Sturrock does a quick about turn, trying to get it to his right foot, trying to hook it across. Clark's there and a goal! John Clark 2-0 after a missed kick by Billy McKinlay. He really biffed it. What a beautiful goal. McKinlay completely miskicked, but Clark didn't. Tremendous shot high into the corner. United lead 2-0.
You know, they tried to sort of undermine us when we got there. You know, they tried every trick in the book. And I remember we were coming out, I think, for the warm-up, and there was just these balls being pelted at you. And this was the players, they just had a number of balls, and as we were going out, they were just trying to hit us with the balls. And You know, crazy things like that. But we ended up, you know, getting a good result there.
I can remember the game in Split, you know, and I felt as if I must have covered God knows how many miles and probably touched the ball about twice in the whole game.
You know, these teams, you know, were good sides, you know, really good sides. And, you know, it was very difficult away ties, but to come through those first few rounds was excellent.
I think it doesn't matter when you play Barcelona, whether they're at the peak of their form or whatever. It's just a wonderful experience to, you know, going against a team of that calibre.
It's bizarre, it's always Monday night we drew them for some reason. I was down at the front of the shops and quite a well known United fan, Ronnie Patterson, he says, I says, don't you think about the draw, Ronnie? No problem, he says to me, no problem, look for the next round. You're just laughing, you're saying, oh, well, you know. But deep down you're like that, no, well, obviously I have got a chance because as other people have alluded to, you did fancy United against anybody in Europe at that time. You know?
I think probably deep down a lot of the lads felt, well, you know, we've maybe gone as far as we're going to go, but really we are playing well and there's no reason why we can't give them a good game.
The Barcelona players, I mean, there was Mark Hughes, there was Gary Lineker, people like that. You were coming out against them, you'd see them on the telly every other week.
I think if you're being honest, if you draw a club like Barcelona, you think, well, you know, as long as we put up a good performance, and I don't think really that we expected to go through.
When we got drawn against Roma, I fancied it. When we got drawn against Monaco, I fancied it. When we got drawn against Anderlecht, I fancied it. PSV Eindhoven, I fancied it. The first time Borussia, I fancied it. You give me European football, I'd play it all day.
Again, it was one of my perks of the job. I was sent over to Spain to watch Barcelona and the night they played Real Madrid, and I thought at the time, you know, what an experience. Here I'm sitting watching Real Madrid playing Barcelona, 100,000 people there, and I'm getting paid to do it. I thought it was magnificent.
If we played on the night, then we had a right good chance. But we really had to play to our highest level, you know.
And we felt as though we could do it, you know, we could beat Barcelona. And in the past, Dundee United have beat Barcelona a couple of times before that. And we thought, well, let's just carry on and keep the standard up.
I played left wing in both of the games. Now and then the man decided that you know, he had looked at the opposition and there was somebody right back that could be taken. He put me out there. So in the home game I played against the right, and away from home I played on the left as well. So, you know, quite the freshness of playing there. You know, the man marking had been pretty stiff over the years in Europe, because obviously they had got round that Dundee United were a good side. They were very physical in some games, so it was a nice relief for me at times to go out in the left wing.
To be fair, I think, I mean, the main one, I think, because everybody mentions is the Barcelona game. Because that's a superb goal.
I remember it just like that, although Kevin was probably the only one that believes it. I was going to ask you that earlier to see if he still adamant that he meant it.
Definitely didn't mean it. And if Kevin says he did, he's a liar.
I actually saw that goal recently. And I always thought he ran down the line and crossed it. But in actual fact it was like a throw in and he just sort of hooked it on. There's no way he meant that. I don't care what he says.
Well, let's put it this, I think if he was a golfer it would have been a bit of a fade, let's put it that way.
If you talk to Kevin and meant it, if you talk to the whole world, he didn't. You know what I'm saying? So we'll take it, Kevin meant it.
So Lineker with the layoff, he was bundled from the back a little by David Neary, and the free kick goes to Barcelona. David Neary's 59th European match tonight. The only Scotsman has played more often in European club competition is Billy McNeil. It's played forward by McGilly, the header by Neary. Ferguson coming back quickly to pick up the ball on the fence. He got the free kick for handball, and this is Polstak. And that's played away by Moratalia. Gallagher was hoping to get free on the right, but the United fans encouraged as the throw is quickly taken towards Sturrock. There's Gallagher. A perfect start for Dundee United. Ian Ferguson leads the celebrations, but the man who got the goal was young Kevin Gallagher. Look at this on the volley, riding it beyond Zubizarreta into the far corner, and it's a dream start for United.
People still today still ask you, did you cross it, did you shoot it? And I still won't tell anybody because I don't think I know myself. So, but no, I think that game stands out because when Terry Venables was an English manager at the time, he had Mark Hughes and Gary Lineker, and I think that was an attraction as well as just being Barcelona.
Carrasco's cross, a chance now for Barcelona. They're queuing up on the line, and a lucky break for Billy Thompson. He did very well indeed to block that. He's congratulated by Carrasco. Well, they were queuing up for this one. There was the back heeler, a chance which Gary Lineker would score 9 times out of 10.
He never really caught it right. You know, he'd sort of, you know, put it into the ground. You never really had enough time to react in terms of going and try and get your hands on it. You know, it was only maybe 5-6 yards out. So it was just a case of just getting anything, you know, in front of it and stopping it. And fortunately, I just managed to block it with my leg.
As we were getting up to the new camp, seen this bus. Well, I saw this bus and I'm like, that's a team. I just took off, run up to the team bus, and it's actually got me on. I'm on the TV. It's Archie McPherson commentating and saying, what was it? And Dundee United fans stood out like beacons. And it's just me standing going daft. Yeah, it's just brilliant.
One of the most amazing and satisfying victories I saw was in the new camp, or the Camp Nou as they call it, against Barcelona. That was a tremendous performance.
On the TV, you've got them in the tunnel, and they're standing. It's like they're playing against Wraith Rovers, standing. Luggy's like juggling with a ball, and throwing him and Neri standing scratching his. They're actually about to play the biggest club in the world in their own stadium. You know what I mean? It's just amazing. And that night, just loved it. This big, wide open spaces he was getting, just destroyed them.
Fitted into this amazing structure, but at the end of the day they're playing against a team, Dundee United, who are as experienced as any British side at this sort of thing. And that, I think, is what Jim McLean has pumped into his players since they arrived in Spain 2 days ago.
I remember we trained in the pitch in the new camp the day before the game, and it was really dry, and to be honest it was quite bumpy. But when we went along to the game the following night to play them, they'd watered the park, and I could see the glint in their eyes that, oh, this is great.
The thing that sticks in my mind, I know this sounds a bit bizarre, but they actually watered the park before the game. They hosed it down. And I thought to myself, did they not know that Dundee United are a passing team? You know, that suited us down to the ground, I thought. To water the park, to make it skiddy for us to pass the ball about, I thought this is perfect. This is great.
Right from the start, I mean, the dressing rooms, everything was absolutely incredible. The size of them.
I was fortunate enough to play in the San Siro with Rangers against Inter Milan, and I think very, very sort of similar type. But I mean, the new camp is just absolutely unbelievable, and that experience is one that when you get the chance to play in an arena like that, you just never. It's not something that you'll ever forget.
You came out from the dressing room downstairs, and then you went upstairs to the pitch. And I couldn't believe the atmosphere, you know, as you walked onto that pitch. It was absolutely brilliant. Best atmosphere I would say I've experienced. But even the game for that matter, it was just, you walk onto the pitch, and even when we played at Tannadice as well, in the UEFA Cup games and evening games, you could smell it, you know, you could hear it. You think, we're going to do something here, we're going to win this game.
I didn't play away from home. I played against Forfar in a cup. Stuart Kennedy decided to stick his knees into my ribs. So I had 2 cracked ribs, so I watched the game.
To be honest, I can't remember. I can remember the goal. I think Paul Heggarty headed it against the back of somebody's head, and it ricocheted, and the guy scored, as you say, right before half time.
Oh, I've got memories of that, okay, because I was going to string Luggy up.
Well, the thing about it is, if he hadn't touched it, I'd have cleared it.
Well, that's a better looking touch. That was Roberto coming through.
They had just got the corner, and Luggy was always on that back post. And I'm getting myself geared up, and you know, this one's picking that one up. The next thing, I hear Luggy saying to me, "Tom, we can't lose a goal here. We just cannot lose a goal here. It's too near half time." So, without turning around or anything like that, I just said, "Luggy, just, you know, shut your face and don't say nothing. Right? Don't tempt fate." So, I don't know, no, we can't do it. I says, look. So the next thing, the cross comes over, it gets headed out. The guy hits it from, I think, 20, 21 yards, something like that. And it's hit the deck and it's skidded, and I've tried to get across. Just missed it, and Luggy's is undiving. I'm looking and I can see Luggy on the post, and he's trying to header the ball, but goes in.
I was right behind him and I was just waiting to put my foot up to clear it, and he got gloved it and took it over my leg.
And as I got up from the deck, you know, I just looked at Luggy and I just said, why? Why did you say that? You know, why didn't you just shut your face? You know? But he just, you know, he kind of didn't laugh about it, but you know, you could see him, you know, shaking his head and saying to himself, I wish I hadn't said anything.
We make it exactly 5 minutes to half time. Ramon Dundee puts Barcelona in the lead in the 5 minutes. Exactly 5 minutes from the half-time whistle, and Barcelona are back in business.
And it was a bad time to score a goal, because when you looked at the clock, we were into injury time, you know, and in the end, you know, it's a killer blow going in.
We really played very, very well and fully deserved to actually score a couple of goals in the second half.
They came out at half-time thinking that it's just going to happen, you know, but in the end, we worked very hard, solidly as a unit. And they never really broke us down after that. And to be fair, you know, the 2 goals, I think, were the icing on the cake.
It was a strange one. It's just one of these things that Paul Heggery had said to me before. I spoke to someone about this recently. Paul said to me, we both went up for the I'm going to say corner, it was a free kick, and he says, you're going to score here. He told me to go first. He says, you'll score here, but he might have told me that every set piece we had. But for some reason I remember him saying it, and thankfully for everyone it was he was right enough, and we got the goal.
Score was out of this world, like, you know. I was all sitting watching on my own, my mother's house at the time, and I'm going off my nut, absolutely off my nut, and yet again negativity kicks in with me. I'm like, bet they scored 2. So I switch the TV off. next thing I hear, obviously people upstairs are watching it for us. It must have been, what was it, the next goal, 4 or 5 minutes later or whatever it may have been. They're jumping up and doing it like that. So either the 14 whistle or was scored again. Switches the TV back on and they've scored again. I'm just like, I can't believe this. Brother's on the phone to us just after 2nd goal again, and he's greeting on the phone and everything. Absolute bedlam, like, you know, absolute bedlam. Unbelievable result. Never be better by a team in Scotland, in my opinion.
I mean, United fans just sung the whole game. I mean, they were just their party, you know what I mean? But once that goal, when United scored, it was just amazing, honestly. I mean, everybody just standing crying and everything, you know what I mean? It was just. Never felt like that ever. Just an amazing experience. Then when they got the winner, just bonkers. I mean, we were still celebrating the first goal. You know what I mean? And the second one went in. Amazing feeling, honestly. I'll never be beaten. That feeling, never.
They did need to score 2 goals, but I mean the second one in particular, I remember, because really we'd been telling Paul Sturrock just to take the ball for a walk into the corner. And for some reason he crossed it, not to the pleasure of most people, but eventually, you know, Fergie got his head to it and put it in the net.
I knew there was only a couple of minutes to go, and I seen Fergie at the far post, you know, and I said to myself, well, I actually started to drive in the box hoping for a penalty. I was waiting for a leg or somebody to come to me, and nobody came to me because obviously they were worried about people in the box, and he peeled off. And I said to myself, if I get this right, we're going to score. If I don't, it'll fly out the other side and I'll get thrown in their back.
Now, United have a very loyal support, and you can hear it in the background. Not the same size of support as other clubs, but I hope the whole of Scotland is rejoicing tonight at what they have accomplished here. There's been no fluke. Redford. Here's Dunnock. United keeping possession. And I'm keeping my eye on the watch. Here's Dunnock as the offside. Dunnock. Could he kill it? There's the chip. He might have it.
The one good thing about that is that the wee man has never been one for giving praise, but he must have had a few drinks one night, and he phoned me up and said that he was watching the old Barcelona games and that was my best performances for Dundee United. So to come from him, that takes a bit of doing.
It's funny, I think, you know, the fact that we scored, that Ian Ferguson scored and Big Clark had scored as well. There was a cushion. You know, so I remember not wanting the game to end, but only because we had that cushion.
Sure.
You know, I just thought, just let it go another 10 minutes, you know, really enjoying this.
Seconds remaining, a repetition of the score of 21 years ago. A quite superb achievement, and they are entitled to get into the Pino Palazzo tonight. And there goes the final whistle. Dundee United are through to the semi-finals of the UEFA Cup. A certainly deserved achievement. Coming here and beating one of the most expensively acquired teams in Europe. Within the first half, a sturdy defensive display, and then from the worst goal in the second half, taking the game to Barcelona. They might have gone into the historic goal early on in that second half, and perseverance has got them through. Perseverance ladled liberally with skill and good finishing as the Barcelona supporters look, I think, bemused and befuddled. The United team goes to the small bunches of supporters. Quite astonishing that in their 74th European tie, there they are, they've stunned the millionaires.
I'll tell you why that night in Barcelona stands out particularly, and it's because nobody really deep down thought United could do something like that. But they not only achieved it, they outplayed the opposition. They were the better team, the better footballing team, and never at any time did they show any sense of being overawed by the situation they're in. Because any team that goes to the Camp Nou at any time is faced with this massive canyon of people who can get at you and intimidate you, and United certainly weren't. Not through courage, just through intelligent preparation and intelligent play.
I spoke to Jim McInally after the game. We were doing a cool down with Graham Lowe. He was a sprint coach at the time, and we were doing a cool down, and obviously a bit emotional, you know. I'm not saying I was the first person to cry, but you know, I was speaking to Jimmy, and Jimmy said, I can't believe you said that to me. You've just played in the biggest football arena in the world, and you've said you're going to forfeit.
We'd already had a lot of success against German teams, and for some reason there was quite an air of confidence about playing Borussia.
I think I'd just come back from injury. I think I'd been out for, it wasn't that long, but I think I'd maybe played a league game, then come into this game. But the memory that sticks out in my mind is it was a cross that came in, I think it was the second half. Everything was going fine up to that point, you know, in terms of a personal point of view. And then a cross came in as I'm looking at it from my left, and it was one of those ones where it was, you know, nice and you know, kind of floaty, and you think, this is mine. Came for it, and I knew there was two attackers on my right hand side, and for some unknown reason it just right through my hands. And Heggie again, not for the first time, saved my bacon.
Committed now, and he's made a blunder, and that's off the line again. Second save there by Paul Hegarty, and that is akin to one of the saves I saw him make in Werder Bremen when he was running full pelt into his net. Touchdown there, and there he was again, right in the spot. That's good defending. Very impressive performance by the Germans in the first half. Strong, organised and fast. It's not a bad basis to build an efficient team. Here's Gallagher. Germans simply look so powerful in comparison to United. Redford, Sturrock, he held back on it, and no wonder with Bruns coming across. The German captain, more determined look about this United side, and particularly Paul Sturrock there. Oh, there's a touch. He needed more in it though. Ian Ferguson. Oh, superb play by Sturrock. He suddenly turns away from his markers. I needed a more positive touch than that. Nearly. Now Gallagher. Well, he's going to find out about close marking and some savage tackling in this match. Bothered him that time. Just kept in. Free kick. Well, I did say he was going to find out about one or two things, mostly physical. That's lesson number one. The number 4 of Jim McInally. Redford, got a very good left foot. Bannon, an even better one. That's a chip, and there's a brilliant save. And that's it! No! I think offside. Yes. United so very close to breaking the deadlock. Brilliant play by Bannon. Chipping it in. And rattled in. No goal, offside. Still, it's shaken the Germans. Bannon, neat little dab across. That was Ferguson. A better performance by United all round. They've harried the Germans, not allowed them to settle, and this is a dangerous break as Hochstadter goes through. Brilliantly saved by Thompson from Kreens. And United's record still intact. Beautifully played through. Kreens did get the touch first. Finkel certainly made ground. Here's Bannon. Cuts it back. Gallagher with a chance. Oh, he should have put that away though. I mean, he did get a glimpse of the net. That's a corner and it's over. And what an ending there. I really think Gallagher should have given United the lead. Across it came. Watch it breaking down to the youngster. I was slightly off balance. He did as well as he could. McInally trying to chip it over the mud. There's McInally. Starrock puts it in. There's a great chance for Ferguson, he's done it! No, he's offside! The second disallowed goal. And just out of sight of us, at that moment the linesman put through it was, and I think that might have been slightly unfortunate. Quite sure what he would have been when the pass was made. Through it went there, and remember he had to make a run to get onto that ball. And the referee is looking at his watch ominously for United. They've really got to push it in now. Here's Bannon, and there goes the final whistle. The Germans clearly elated. They got off the hook. I have to say about them though that in the first half they were quite splendid in the way they controlled the game, but I feel heartfelt sorry for United who threw absolutely everything into it. They gave of their very best in that last 20 minutes.
The 2-0 at home, and you thought your chances were gone, and at the end of the day they're coming up to me and they're all going like this. When we get you in Germany,
And we got a horrendous result as far as we were concerned at Tannadice. And I played particularly badly myself. I'd done it in an article lately where I'd been down with a stomach bug just beforehand, and I wanted to. I didn't want to miss a game, because if you missed the game and somebody come in and take your place, then you could be out for the rest of the season for last 2 or 3 weeks. And I got whipped off at half time, and Jim was none too pleased, especially when he found out that I'd been out and covered it up. And actually, I was on the bench away from home 2 weeks later.
Now against Borussia, Germany, great place to go, great facilities, fantastic pitch, lovely stadium.
But nobody expected the crowd of support that we had, because we were bolstered by the army. Whole lot of Englishmen have been back to stand night as well, so they'd all piled in as well. So it was a great atmosphere.
There's Bannon now with a chance for the cross, and Barofka very happy to turn that behind for United's first corner kick of the match. Close to half-time now, but a good piece of play on the United left with Bannon's cross turned behind.
I remember thinking I didn't think I could header it in for some reason. And there was a lot of players in the line. So I thought, well, I kind of caught Fergie at the corner of somebody in orange jersey, whatever. So I thought, I'll pass the buck to him, basically.
So it's a corner kick which will be taken by Paul Starrock. And Neary has joined Paul Hegarty in the box. Camps beats it out. There's Bannon. The chance is on, and there's Ferguson. And Dundee United have scored. The goal stands. Jubilation for Ian Ferguson. The Barclaysburg Stadium is silenced apart from the clutch of Dundee United supporters who've gone wild behind Billy Thompson's goal. The corner kick set up. Camps was not convincing, beating it out. It was a fine header here by Eamon Bannon, getting up on the 6-yard line, nodding it to Ferguson. A powerful header, front set couldn't reach it, and United have taken the lead. 62 European matches for David Neary, and looking composed and confident in the heart of that defence, creating two as he comes forward. Now space for United to exploit on the right. Dave Bowman. Far post ball, there's Ferguson! And that again was a clear header for Ian Ferguson. He holds his head And clearly that would have been such a boost to United at the start of the second half. Bowman's cross, and once again the German defence posted missing for a high ball. Here's Ian Redford. Inside to Sturrock. Sturrock is onside, there's Redford. And that's just inches away from the second goal for United. The bench rising as one once again. And a good move on the left, Redford and Sturrock. The 1-2. Releasing Redford, he beat Camps with a shot, but the ball goes wide of the far post. So 20 minutes of the second half gone. A reminder of the scoreline: Borussia 0, Dundee United 1. The goal in 43 minutes from Ian Ferguson. Here's Frontek. Another good cross, Thompson at full stretch. Marvellous goalkeeping by Billy Thompson. Stretching his frame to catch that one-handed. And that certainly must have knocked a little bit more confidence out of the German fault.
I'm not sure if it was a Spanish or Portuguese referee, but you could just sense he was desperate to give him something, you know, really. And I think it was a 4-step rule at that time.
Indirect free kick.
Indirect free kick, which was a piece of nonsense because I just, you know, picked the ball up, took 2 steps and cleared it. And right away he's blew his whistle, and I thought, oh. So we got everything set up, we got the wall set up. And I think Ian Ferguson was on my right hand post, and so I just, you know, kept saying, please God, don't let this go in, you know. So the boy struck, it was a good strike. I've dived, nowhere near it. Fergie, it's actually hit the post, come back out, and then Fergie's went to go and try and stop it. You know, it was that quick.
And the referee again is going to take action, and it's against Uwe Rahn. Well, this is eccentric also. So it's for wasting time, presumably, although I can't quite understand it, or for dissent, complaining about the positioning of the wall, more likely.
It's for not taking the kick when the referee told him to take it, actually.
Well, Mr. Dos Santos becoming much more of a central figure in the action. There it goes to Borowka, off the post. And thumped away from Rahn, and there's Dave Bowman, and the United defence survives once again. Well, this rocket shot from Borowka beats the United defence, comes off the post. Dundee United about to become the 4th Scottish side to make a European final, the first to go to the final of the UEFA Cup. And the performances justify that tonight. Outstanding in defence.
Long ball through, you collect it, you take it, you skin the left back, you run in, draw the keeper, you've got a chance to get on the headlines. Why do you square the ball to get Nedford?
I think it's just unselfishness.
Yeah, I think that I probably just about had maybe one more run left in me in the tank. I think obviously Kevin unselfishly laid it to me because I was in a better position.
I mean, I remember the incident really well, and just to square it, as I said, opened the goal for him, because I'm one-on-one with the goalkeeper. I've done a run and a dribble, and to be fair, your legs are getting a little bit tired, and possibly at that stage, I know I was just a substitute coming on. I was a nervous wreck because you don't want to falter, and to square the ball and see if I put the ball in the back of the net, just made sure that we were going on in the competition.
Obviously grateful for the fact that he did and gave me the opportunity to score.
Superbly organised in midfield and very dangerous on the break. Here's Kevin Gallagher, he's away from Herlofsson. Can he do it all by himself? He has Redford waiting in the middle. Here's Gallagher, now Redford, a great chance for United second. Here's Redford, yes! The night of glory is completed by Ian Redford. And Jim McLean celebrates Kevin Gallagher's coolness under pressure, setting it up for Redford. How about this for coolness at this stage in the match? It was away past Camps. There goes the second goal, and Dundee United lead by 2-0.
The legs were really obviously very tired, and my only thought at that time was to basically just try and take the ball wide of the goalkeeper, just try and get it wide of him. I knew that he'd close me down really, really quickly. And really all I thought was just to knock it sideways, to give myself an angle really to put the ball in the net. And fortunately I managed to knock it clear of him, and then just had the strength to basically get to it and knock it in.
And the final whistle has gone. Dundee United are through to the UEFA Cup final. And they'll face Gothenburg to qualify tonight.
And it was just a moment of unbelievableness, if that's a word, like, you know, you're like, I can't believe we're UEFA Cup final. It was unreal. You know, now these boys are going tonto around you, absolutely berserk. Boys you've never met in your life, you're necking with them, and it's unbelievable, like, you know, absolutely fantastic. Germans couldn't believe what was going on. They were just like, looking at us like, what's this squad that's come up in Dundee, 3,500 on 10 hours stadium, and they're an absolute 30 in the stadium. It's absolutely brilliant, though. Absolutely brilliant.
In Germany, everybody's delighted, talking about the dressing room and everything. And the ones that have played a bit part in the game, or the ones that have been left out, had to go out and train. So we had to go and do a wee bit because we'd done very little that week. So we had to go and do a bit of running on the park. But the place was obviously, it was buzzing and everybody's
I remember coming in at full time, everybody's elated, you know, absolutely incredible feeling. But Mr. McLean and his wisdom decided to have a right go at me because I had given away this free kick. And he went ballistic, you know, he went ballistic. And I remember saying to him, boss, we're just in the final of the FA Cup. I don't really care. I don't really care. And I walked in the showers.
The goalkeeper is out. Here is Mark Milner and Chappie did it. Yes, it has gone onside. Milner has been intercepted. Corey. 2-0 for United.
Kept his cool, slotted it in left-footed into an empty net. Clark's there to go. John Clark 2-0. He really booked it. What a beautiful goal. There's Gallagher. A perfect start for Dundee United.
Champs beats it out. There's Bannon. The chance is on, and there's Ferguson. And Dundee United have scored. Jubilation for Ian Ferguson. The Barclaysburg Stadium is silenced. Applaud from the clutch of Dundee United supporters. Here's Kevin Gallagher. He's away from Herlofsson. Can he do it all by himself? He has Redford waiting in the middle. Here's Gallagher. Now Redford, a great chance for United second. There's Redford. Yes! The night of glory is completed by Ian Redford, and Jim McLean celebrates. How about this for coolness at this stage in the match? There's away class champs. There goes the second goal.
When we were in Gothenburg, I mean, there was what, 5,000 Dundee United supporters there, you know, I mean, it was unbelievable. I mean, the place just seemed to be a massive tangerine in black.
The pitch was just in a shambles. You couldn't run with it, you couldn't pass it.
I mean, it was rutted, it was, you know, just terrible condition.
You think the final of the Cup, you like to go, it's like a Hampden or a Wembley, you got a final and the surface is exceptional. But when we went across there, it was, like you say, there was a concert on it the night before or 2 nights before.
Maybe took it away a wee bit, you know, the the fact this was a final of the FA Cup. You know, because what you want to do is you want to go into lush green grass, and you know, but still you had a job to do, so you had to get on with it.
When I look back on that that UEFA Cup run, you know, what I think of more, and not just from the fact that we beat them, you know, Barcelona and the Borussia, because you know the ambience, if you like, the atmosphere inside the stadium, you know, the playing surface and all that. Whereas when I think about Gothenburg, although it was the final, it was a rutted pitch, not able to really get the ball down and play the way we felt that would have given us the best chance to beat them.
They obviously thought it suited their style of play against ours, and that's, as I say, it's the same for both sides. We can't put that down as any excuse at all, but I can remember it being particularly bad at the time.
Dundee United preferred being away from home in terms of how they played the game, but they couldn't play their normal game on that pitch.
I can remember playing the ball back to Big Billy Thompson, the goalkeeper at the time, and it honestly took 2 or 3 bobbles to get there, and I eventually got there, but I think the striker had just sort of nipped in and cut Billy Thompson's eye. You know, he had to get stitches there and then, or just a wee plastic stitches put on.
Was it Peterson or it came through, and it was just 1-on-1, and you know, he struck the ball, and I've managed to save it. I've saved it to my right, but it's kind of went over me, so I've spun round to get it again, and as I've done so, he's come in and his knee has just caught the top of my ear, and it just ripped my ear off, just hanging off. But at the time I didn't know how bad it was. Never really felt anything. You know, I just felt a tug, and it wasn't until John Holt, I think it was. I remember John saying, "Oh, geez, look at his ear, it's hanging off. Look at the blood." And at that point, that's when I just panicked, because I was fine up to that point. So that took a wee bit of time. I think they were Dr. Ledbetter, who was a doctor at the time. I think he was one were going to attempt to stitch it there and then. But they left it, just, you know, put a bandage around it, and that was it. But after that, you know, I felt sick and you know, a bit groggy, you know, because that's really what contributed to the goal, you know, which I was angry about, because as a cross came over, just prior to that, I was, you know, it's not nice to say in front of cameras, but I threw up, you know, I felt sick, and the cross came over, and normally it's a cross that I would attempt to come and take, but I stayed because you know, I just felt terrible, and the boys came in and headed it down the way, and it just bulleted off the ground.
I was marking the guy at the back post, and again I saw this goal fairly recently, maybe just a year or so ago, but my memories were it was I basically was at the back post, and the guy put his hands on my shoulders and jumped above me, and I basically couldn't jump, and he headed the ball down and it hit the ground and bounced up into the net, so it was like a dum-dum. And I was so angry at the time, because I thought it was a foul. And I also thought, you know, all the passage of years, I thought, why didn't I just go down with his weight? Why didn't I just collapse in a heap? And, you know, because he definitely, to my mind, he helped himself up on my shoulders. And then I saw the game about a year ago, and I thought, that wasn't a foul. It wasn't even on television, it wasn't even a foul. And yet I've been harbouring this hatred to this referee, you know, the best part of 20 years.
I still think the result wasn't a bad result, coming back to Tannadice.
Here's John Clark. Good play from Clark. And there's the equaliser. And that is a magnificent goal from John Clark.
Well, it's obviously still there. It's something you can't take away, but I think it doesn't mean too much that we lost the game. You know, I'd rather have not scored and we won the game, obviously, but it's still something you could pass on to your kids and whatever. And people probably still remember you more for the Barcelona goal than they do for the final, the goal in the final. But you obviously have done it. It was kind of a non-event after the occasion, because we didn't manage to win the game.
I think they were probably, the best side that we played.
The players were emotionally disappointed because they'd been drained, because it'd been a really long, hard season, because I think Dundee United that year, I think other than getting to the League Cup final, we got beat from Rangers in the semi-final, played every game that season, 44 league games, 12 UEFA Cup ties, so many Scottish Cup ties, League Cup ties, and we'd have the final League Cup, we'd have done the full Monty, you know, which is one heck of an ask.
you know, the response of the fans, the fans were great, absolutely superb. The woman from the radio came up and wanted to speak. I couldn't really say nothing because, you know, you're absolutely gutted.
I'll never forget that. I mean, for me, it was just, the whole thing was just such a great experience, and the Dundee public were just absolutely magnificent. I mean, the way they supported us, and they deserved every plaudit and good thing that was said about them. They deserved a lot because they were just fantastic. I mean, the way they supported us, you know, to all the away, like going to Eastern Europe and all that, just terrific, and fully deserved. And I think they appreciated our efforts, and I think even the fact that, you know, at the end of the season we didn't win anything for them, which was obviously a major disappointment for the players, but I think they truly appreciated the efforts, you know, the absolutely terrific efforts of the whole squad that season.
The fans made you feel as if it was worth it after the event. They're probably as disappointed, or nearly as disappointed as the players, and they tried to lift us as best they could. It was the only way that they knew, and I think it worked on a few occasions. It's something that was really appreciated by the players.
No regrets, Joe, at all. No regrets. But I've experienced it. It's in our club's history now, and nobody will ever take it away from us. Nobody will ever take it away from us.
Well, I went from there, never appeared in another cup final again. You know, I got to a couple of semis, so yeah, trust me, getting to finals is much better than not getting to them.
It wasn't until maybe a day or two after it, you know, when you sit down, you know, and you're reflecting on things and think just how close.
If I had to live any season again in my life, I would live that season. Wouldn't have been anything even close. One match would be close, would probably be the cup final, but the season was just a dream, unbelievable. I'll never ever see a season like that again.
But we all had young kids, and we all went out together at night, and it's incredible. It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
I loved the experience here at the club at the time, and I still do. I've still got a soft centre for the club.
I know the time I had at Blackburn at European nights, and I missed a lot of them due to an injury, but people forget you've played European nights and you try to tell them what it's all about, and it's totally different telling people who's never played it before. And your memories of that were just fantastic, because it just seemed to be that Tannadice just lit up on the occasions, because we had it every year, and they were just getting more special and special, and especially the run to the UEFA Cup final.
I see it as that team, I thought never ever would reach the heights that it did. I'm saying, so you've got to take it, you know, I think it was an achievement rather than a disappointment.